What if your morning routine is making you sick? I thought I had the perfect morning routine. Wake at 6 a.m., chug warm lemon water, squeeze in a chilly jog through the estate, blend up a green smoothie with spinach and chia seeds, scroll the news a bit, then sit down to work by 9. Proper wellness vibes, right? But here's the twist, I wasn't getting better. I was getting sicker. More tired, bloated, moody. And no one, not even my GP, had a clue why. Until I asked myself one simple question: what if my morning routine was the problem? At first, it was just tiredness, the kind that sleep didn't fix. Then came the nausea light in the mornings, but enough to make breakfast feel like a chore. Add in the random headaches, dry flaky skin around my nose, and a fog in my brain so thick I once forgot my own postcode during a phone bill query. I figured it was stress. Work had been hectic, deadlines flying like pigeons in Trafalgar Square. Maybe it was just the lovely British weather doing its annual impersonation of a grey sponge. You know how it is. Went to my GP. She nodded sympathetically, told me to drink more water, maybe try a multivitamin. Classic. I nodded back, pretending that advice hadn't already been Google result, one for the past 6 months. But nothing changed. I was downing liters of water, chewing expensive gummy vits that claimed to boost everything from mood to metabolism, and still, by 10 a.m., I felt like I'd been run over by a double-decker and dragged halfway down the M25. The worst part? I was doing everything right, or so I thought. So I took a step back and actually looked at what I was doing every morning. You'd think I was training for a wellness Olympics. I was waking up at 6 a.m. after getting maybe 4 or 5 hours of actual sleep. Sleep? Overrated, apparently. I'd jump straight out of bed and down a glass of warm lemon water like some sort of monk. Never mind that it made my stomach twist like a Pret sandwich in a tumble dryer. Then I'd lace up and go for a jog in the cold, wet, sometimes even frosty London air. Because nothing says self-care like soaking your socks in a park puddle before sunrise. Back home, I'd throw together a green smoothie spinach, kale, chia seeds, a sad half banana. No protein, just fiber on fiber. Straight after cardio, on an empty stomach, like a digestive death wish. Then came the scroll. I'd sit down, open Instagram, get hit with perfect bodies and toxic positivity, followed by BBC headlines reminding me the world was ending. Again. And of course, coffee. Always black. Always on an empty stomach. A cortisol cocktail to go with my anxiety smoothie. Breakfast? Nah. I'd work through it. Thought I was being efficient. Truth is, I was just being slowly dismantled by my own routine. Each piece seemed harmless, healthy, even, but stacked together, it was a perfect storm of stress triggers, gut disruptors, and nervous system overload. I wasn't thriving. I was surviving with receipts from Holland, Barrett, to prove it. It all changed over brunch. Well, brunch and brutal honesty. A mate of mine, Lou, looked at me across her overpriced avocado toast and said, "You don't look well. You still doing all that early bird biohacker madness?" I laughed, a bit too defensively. "What, my routine?" "Yeah, why?" She raised an eyebrow. "You look like a tired celery stick. You've lost color, and not in a sexy glow-up kind of way." It hit harder than I expected. Lou's not one for sugarcoating, but I trust her. She's the kind of friend who'll tell you your top see-through before you get on the bus. So I went home that afternoon, flopped onto my sofa with my second coffee. Yes, another one on an empty stomach, and stared at the ceiling. Was I actually doing this to myself? Then I did something very un-me. I opened Google and typed, "Can your morning routine make you ill?" What came up made my jaw drop. Forum posts, Reddit threads, articles by actual nutritionists, people sharing nearly identical story-silly wake-ups, lemon water, fasting, green smoothies, cardio before food, scrolling news first thing and feeling absolutely wrecked as a result. One post literally said, "Your body doesn't care about your routine's aesthetic, it cares if it's sustainable." That was the moment the penny dropped. Maybe I wasn't just tired. Maybe I was tired because I was trying so hard to be healthy. The more I dug into it, the clearer things became. A healthy routine was quietly wrecking me. First culprit? Lemon water. I'd read somewhere it alkalized the body and aided digestion. What it actually did was flare up my acid reflux like I'd downed a shot of vinegar. Every morning I'd feel this mild nausea creeping, and turns out, chucking acid into an empty, already sensitive stomach is not a vibe. Then came the cold jogs. I thought I was boosting my mood and fitness. But I was just getting my ass kicked. I was tired, and I was But apparently, early morning cardio, especially in cold, damp British weather, can spike and crash your cortisol like a roller coaster, especially if you're already stressed. No wonder I'd get home shivering, jittery, and feeling like I'd run from a mugging rather than for my health. And don't get me started on the green smoothies. Spinach, kale, flax seeds, chia, raw oats, basically blended compost. It looked like pond water and tasted like regret. Too much fiber, too fast, with no fat or protein to balance it out. It bloated me daily. I was convinced I was getting lean really. I was just puffed up like a pastry. Next, coffee on an empty stomach. That one was straight up sabotage. It spiked my cortisol, kicked my gut into overdrive, and made me anxious before I'd even opened my inbox. And because I hadn't eaten yet, my blood sugar would crash around 10:30 a.m., leaving me shaky and irritable, like a moody gremlin in a blazer. Let's not forget doom scrolling. 10 minutes of BBC News, Twitter meltdowns, and Instagram that girl routines before breakfast. That's a full dose of dopamine depletion, stress, and body dysmorphia before my brain's even woken up properly. My mornings were less self-care and more psychological warfare. And the final cherry on this tragic health cake? Minimal sleep, no breakfast, and then launching straight into a workday. I was asking my body to perform like a race car on 3 wheels and a dodgy tank of petrol. It wasn't tired because it was lazy. It was tired because I was giving it zero fuel and expecting miracles. The biggest shock wasn't that one thing was wrong, it was that every single part of my routine, stacked together, was sending my body into fight or flight mode. Daily. Repeatedly. And I thought I was being healthy. Turns out, I wasn't disciplined. I was chronically inflamed and calling it productivity. That quote hit me square in the gut because, yeah, I was chasing an aesthetic, a checklist, a lifestyle I saw online, and it was slowly eroding my health from the inside out. After the penny dropped, I didn't go full overhaul overnight. I wasn't about to swing from 6 a.m. biohacker to layabout Zen monk in one leap. But I started tweaking things, just to see. First thing I changed? My wake-up time. I let myself sleep. Proper, uninterrupted, unalarmed sleep. No more dragging myself out of bed at 6 a.m. to prove some invisible productivity point. I shifted to 7:30 a.m. and focused on getting a full 7 to 8 hours. Within days, the morning nausea started to fade. Next, I broke up with lemon water. Instead of shocking my stomach first thing, I switched to warm water or herbal tea. Peppermint, chamomile, sometimes just plain hot water with a slice of cucumber. Much gentler. No acid reflux. My gut genuinely sighed with relief. Cold jogs were out. Light stretching was in. I swapped runs through rain-soaked pavements for 10 minutes of slow stretches in my living room. No performance pressure, no tight lycra, no nearly slipping on wet leaves. Just breathing, moving, and easing into the day like a normal human. Then came breakfast. A proper one. I said goodbye to the green swamp smoothies and hello to warm oats with banana and peanut butter or scrambled eggs on toast with a pinch of sea salt. Something cooked, something satisfying, something with protein. My bloating eased up, and my energy levels? Chef's kiss. Most radical shift? No phone till after breakfast. Not even a peek. I charged it in another room overnight. No social scrolls, no news, no notifications. Mornings became quieter, calmer, less cluttered. I was finally setting the tone instead of letting my phone set it for me. And here's a big one. I stopped working out when I was exhausted. If I woke up knackered, I gave myself permission to rest. No guilt, no push through it, nonsense. I walked instead of hit. I stretched instead of sprinted. And funnily enough, my body started trusting me again. Over the next few weeks, the difference was undeniable. My skin stopped flaking. My gut felt less like a war zone. The headaches eased off. I had actual energy, not the fake 3 coffees in kind, but real, steady energy that carried through the day. Even my mood lifted. Mornings stopped feeling like a punishment. I didn't dread them. I started enjoying them even without lemon water, kale, or 6 a.m. self-flagellation. It wasn't a glamorous glow-up. It was a quiet reset. And for the first time in ages, my body and brain felt like they were working with me, not just tolerating me. Turns out, listening to your body works better than copying strangers on Instagram. Looking back, it's mad how long I stayed loyal to a routine that was clearly hurting me. But I was sold the dream, this curated, filtered idea of health that's everywhere online. You know the one. Sunrise workouts, glowing skin, avocado toast served with a side of self-discipline. But here's the truth. What you see on Instagram isn't gospel. What works for someone in California doesn't always work for you in Croydon. The cold jogs, the raw smoothies, the early alarms, they weren't bad things on their own. But for me, they were too much, too intense, too disconnected from what my actual body needed. And that's the thing. Sometimes what looks healthy isn't healthy for you. We're all built differently. What energizes one person might drain another. You can't out-supplement, out-cardio, or out-caffeinate your way through something your body's trying to tell you. If you're constantly tired, foggy, bloated, or wired, maybe it's not work, stress, or bad luck, or getting older. Maybe it's your own routine quietly betraying you. It's not weakness to adjust. It's wisdom. You don't get extra points for suffering in the name of wellness. I didn't need a new diet, a new app, or a new guru. I just needed to listen to stop performing health and actually feel it. If any part of this story sounds even remotely like your life, maybe it's time to question your own morning routine too. You don't need to suffer through someone else's version of healthy. Don't follow trends blindly, listen to your body, not just influencers with abs and ring lights. If you're tired of health advice that feels more like marketing than truth, stick around. Follow for more honest UK wellness stories that actually make sense. And subscribe if you've ever had green juice regret. Trust me, you're not alone.